This episode is brought to you by the Neon Nail Company.
We are live. Welcome into the 10th episode of the Market Like a Millennial podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Itnyre. And today, folks, I've decided that we are going to put marketing aside. We are going to put roofing aside, and we are going to talk about me for a change. I listened back to the 9 episodes of the Market Like a Millennial podcast, and I've realized that not once have we talked about what I'm up to, what my plans are going forward as we head into storm season. March 2024, it is officially storm season, baby. And I want to let you guys know where my focuses lie as we head into it. February was absolutely fantastic. Roofing sales were through the roof here at Masters Roofing, which is a good thing. Social media is in the background. That's going crazy too. The amount of followers that we are getting each and every month is blowing my mind. It's fellow contractors. It's normal, everyday people, hopefully looking to get a roof. But that's all because of you guys. The engagement, you guys putting your 2 cents in means the world to me. It gives me feedback, and also it helps me get to more people. So I couldn't do it without you guys. As we get into this podcast, like I said, I wanted to talk about what I have going on because there has been a realignment of focus in what I'm doing each and every day. I'm being intentional about not only what I'm putting out with social, but also getting back to the basics with roofing sales. And that all stems from a conversation that I had with my father where, long story short, he was questioning me on why I was going to the International Roofing Expo. And it wasn't a bad conversation. He just simply said, hey, listen, you are stretched out, son. You got a lot of stuff going on. Not saying that you're not good at it, because you handle it all very well. But as human beings, we only have so much time in a day. We only have so much energy that we can put into everything that we do. And when you're doing podcasts and when you're doing social media at the level that you do and networking, and then you got roofing sales and everything else going on, even though you don't know for certain that something is taking a hit, it's almost guaranteed, right? So if you're putting effort into doing these podcasts, into building your brand, which you're very good at, it's taking away in some way or another from roofing sales, from your family, from your personal life, which you have none of. And he wasn't wrong. And so having that conversation, it made me realize that even though that you have these aspirations, one of the things that my father is big on is what makes you money, right? My father is very selective about what he spends his time on, because time is money in his vision, his eyes. And really looking back on the conversation, it was a tale of 2 completely different generations. My father doesn't care about building a personal brand. He cares about building companies. He cares about putting food on the table, setting an example for your kids, and spending the rest of your time with family and enjoying your life, because you only have so much time here on this earth. He didn't grow up in a generation like I have, where you have these opportunities available to you to not only show people who you are, but to have your own media company where you can put out what you do each and every day. You can have a creative outlet to express yourself creatively, and that resonates with people, and build a following that comes along with inherent benefits to it, right? There's a lot of opportunities that comes along with building a community. But also, when you're focused on doing that, it does take away from other things that you have going on. And his whole thing was, hey, listen, you always been a great roofing salesman. However, before social media, you were elite. The focus was on something completely different, right? And as personal brand has taken off for you, certain things you don't do like you used to, right? And so for me, this episode and where I'm going forward, and really February, I knocked it out of the park in February. It started with getting back to the basics, getting back to thinking about what I did in the past and finding a way to create a harmonious relationship between building a personal brand and still implementing and being intentional about my time in the field. And that worked out very well. It went really well in February. $100,000 worth of roofing sales, all in a retail setting. And so what I have taken away over the past month of getting back to the basics and being more intentional about how I spend my time on social is that the focus has to be on what is best and natural for me. I think a lot of the times as we get into building brand and building a personal brand, it's all about what can we do for our community. And sometimes you can find yourself getting lost in trying to appease the masses, right? And, you know, this podcast is a perfect example. Last week, I couldn't get it done over the weekend. So at the beginning of last week, I developed a nasty sinus infection. I ended up getting plantar fasciitis of the foot on Tuesday that drug into Thursday of wearing a boot consistently throughout the week, signing up roofs with a sinus infection at the same time. And although I stuck it out and got through it all and ended up putting me over $100,000 worth of roofing sales for the month, it was a lot to deal with. And I didn't get around to doing this podcast earlier in the week. And I have to be able to tell myself that is perfectly okay. And I am fine with it, right? Because the podcast isn't making me all that much money, right? And nor is it getting to all that many people. So I have to be okay with it being a week late, right? However, the net progress for the week was a positive one. You know, I sold roofs. I had a good time doing it. I built 2 roofs, collected the money. You know, everything is going well and I'm making money, right? Because I am a one-man operation at the end of the day. My father made that clear too. He said, listen, you are extremely talented at being able to cut up your own videos and you are fantastic on camera. You do all these cool things, but you're just one man. You don't have a team behind you. He said, I wish I could get behind you with the marketing, but that's not my field. I don't understand anything about it. He says, I know how to comment and that's about it. Your mother would love to help you. Your brother would love to help you, but they got their own lives going on too. And same thing with your wife. She already deals with enough as it is. So you got to be able to take a step back and say, what is best for Andrew Itnyre? And right now it's finding a balance and leave it to my father to give me a conversation that I needed that changed everything for me. The perspective shift has has me compartmentalizing everything. I'm very intentional about how I'm spending my time with social. The content ideas are coming quick. They're simple. I'm executing, putting them out, and it's resonating with people. It's getting thousands and thousands of views. But on a personal level, I'm getting out in the field more. I'm asking for the referral once that we do the roof and we do a great job. Getting connected with more people. I'm putting in the work to develop and add to my network locally here in Memphis. I have a real estate group coming in sometime this month, and they're going to do a tour of the design center. I'm catering it with Chick-fil-A. We're going to make it a full experience and have a good time. And it's awakened something that's inside of me that's exciting again. For a long time, and I think it happens to everyone in this industry, when you're out pitching people each and every day for years and years at a time, it gets repetitive. You know, it gets kind of boring. And something about getting back to the bases has got me excited about what we're going to do this spring. And I'm not entirely sure 100% what energy I have tapped into, but I am excited walking out with a signed roofing contract again. And that's something that has been missing for a very long time. I know that's crazy even saying, because each time that you close a deal, you should be excited walking out, right? But being real and honest, I think a lot of us, especially if you've been in roofing sales for a very long time, pitching people each and every day, it does get boring and mundane to a certain extent. It's a different situation every time you're walking in, but when you're walking out, that feeling of, wow, this person believed in me, at some point in time goes away. And you have to be able to sit there and fight for that. And another point to be made, the people that have been doing roofing sales for a long time, that have been out there pitching people consistently, you guys are veterans at your company, and you need to be proud of that. You need to be the one that's setting the example for younger people to follow, because the reality is not many people are roofing salesmen for a long period of time. There's a lot of turnover. There's a lot of in and out. There's a lot of coming in and I'm immediately going to do something else in this industry because this is so hard. And so being an OG, someone that is able to go in and close for a consistent period of time, is something that shouldn't be overlooked, which I feel like I have for a while. I think I put roofing sales and marketing into two completely separate boxes, right? When they coexist together. Being able to go out and present to someone and close a deal is just important as being able to go out and knock doors, being able to send out mailers and put that time in, and being able to utilize social media to your advantage. And the great roofing salesman can do both. So that will conclude this episode of the Market Like a Millennial podcast.